We've got 5 tips or 5 jobs you can do with a simple heat gun. Now the heat gun we're using is a cordless heat gun. It runs on the 24-volt FLEX battery, and it's the FLEX FX6321 Heat Gun. You actually have 2 temperature settings, a low and a high. Goes up to 986 degrees. That's almost 1,000 degrees. That's a lot from a cordless heat gun. Also up to 40 minutes runtime on low on a 5.0 battery. Now the battery does not come with the tool, but anyway, let's get started and see what we can do with a simple cordless heat gun. As we mentioned, there are many uses for a heat gun, especially a cordless heat gun. So we'll show you at least 5 here. Let's get and jump right into the most important one, or maybe the most cost-efficient one that will save you maybe some money, maybe a customer. And what I have here, basically, this is what I would call a headlight bucket. It's kind of all the framework behind a headlight on most of your Silverados from probably 99, 98, 99 to say 2007, if I'm not mistaken. And now I can't even find where my broken piece is. Can y'all find that for me? Oh yes, right here. So here we have, I actually cut it with some shears and then actually ground out a slot there. But basically we've got this broken piece on here, and you can see on here there's actually many broken pieces. That's why these things are kind of in high demand. To try to find these in a salvage yard is kind of a pain. And if we had these broken pieces, we could actually fix them or heal them, if you will. So that's what we're going to simulate right here with this piece right there, and we're going to fix that with this heat gun. Now we're going to attack this, or we're going to fix this with the FLEX heat gun and a couple of staples. I've got a couple of narrow crown staples, a couple of regular staples as well, and then I've got some zip ties, and then I've got the piece here. Pretty simple products that you would typically have in a shop. You might have to rob the office for a few staples, but you don't need many of them. Maybe a pair of pliers, needle nose pliers, and that's about it. Also, I'm going to have the narrowed down or the neck down tip on here. What this is going to do, it's going to concentrate that up to 968 degrees, which, by the way, on here you have a high and a low. You definitely want this in the high mode for this. We need all the heat we can. And again, that tip is now going to concentrate all that heat in one area. Different than, say, let's say we were actually doing some heat shrink. We want a nice broad tip where we want to get a larger area. But this is where we want to concentrate a lot of the heat, because we need to actually weld this up. So yeah, we're basically plastic welding. We're going to kind of fusion weld this piece back together. Obviously, we're missing some plastic here, so it's not like we can kind of just fuse it back together on itself. We're going to have to use something else. But the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to grab me a staple. Now, I usually like using these narrow crown just because they're typically taller and I can stay off the workpiece. But as you can see, the break here, or the cut here, is almost as wide as that staple, and that's going to provide us a lot of rigidity. So I'm actually going to go away from this one, and I'm going to go to this staple here. And here I'm telling you what I'm using. I hadn't even explained it yet, but I think you'll see once we get started here. And what I'm going to do is just get this heated up. I'll start getting it warm, and then I'll really just kind of center it on an area, and I'll go ahead and lay that staple where I want it. And you'll see the plastic start getting really shiny, especially if you've sanded on it or cut on it where it's very dull. And that tells you it's kind of getting moldable, probably melting a little bit, but you don't want this to kind of fall away on itself. And that's all I want to do, is I want to kind of embed that staple into that plastic. And if I keep doing this while everything's still warm, that heat will kind of radiate up to where I don't have to spend as much time heating it. So if you want to kind of work fast, not too fast though. And we're seeing this real time. I'm not speeding anything up yet. And I want that nice and countersunk down into that plastic. And then we'll do one more. And I think you see what's happening here is we're actually adding some rigidity, some strength into this. And there we go. Now I want this to cool down for a few minutes. So let's slide this out of the way. We're not finished with that at all. And bring in another project. Do you have a tip that we may have missed that you use a heat gun for? Let us know in the comments. Okay, now another very important fix is splicing wires together. Now, this is probably one of my lesser favorite ways to handle this, but sometimes it just requires this. And I'm going to take two wires, and again, I'm just going to splice them together. So typical, twist them together here. Now we know that right there, or this connection in itself as a mechanical connection, offers about zero strength. Okay, I could pull that away very easily. It's not like I can wrap that with electrical tape or even just put heat shrink on it and be done with it. I have to somehow mechanically connect that. Now we could use crimps. Sometimes, again, we may not be able to get to it to put a crimp on it, or sometimes we may not have a crimp of the correct size. They have these solder seal connectors. In fact, they have them even smaller than this. I doubt this one's going to go on there. We can try it. And what this does, it has solder in the middle here that actually can be activated. If you put a torch on it, many times you'll overheat the heat shrink because this is heat shrink with solder built into it. So let's try this smallest one here. I think it'll go on the wire. I just don't think it'll go over our solder connection or where our wires are twisted there. Oh yeah, it did. Okay. So I almost made that splice too wide. We want those color codes, those white bands there. That's kind of to let you know, number one, you'll see the solder kind of dissipate once it melts, but also the white is supposed to melt, or those color bands are supposed to melt at the same temperature as well to kind of give you an indication that the solder is melted. So you don't want to just stop when the heat or when the heat shrink actually shrinks. You want to stop when the solder actually embeds itself into the wire, because that's giving you the mechanical connection. So I put my broader tip on here, which is going to spread out that load or spread out that heat. And I'm going to center it right there on the middle at first. And there, it actually flattened out. And now it's spread out into the wire. I can see it in the wire, and I can see the white bands have now kind of spread out and melted as well. And now I can broaden out my heat to make sure I've got the heat shrink nice and shrunk, because not only does this stuff shrink, it should have an adhesive in it as well that really seals that connection. So the solder has melted and gone into the wire, so we got it hot enough to actually do that solder connection with a heat gun. And we've also sealed the connection with the heat shrink. Okay, back to our headlight bucket fix. We see that we've got our staples embedded there. It's nice and cool to the touch. And I'm not going to touch the top yet. And by the way, if this were something that you were actually seeing, that most of the time, like this actual headlight bucket would be behind all the fascia stuff and the front end, everything else, so you wouldn't have to worry about it. But if you wanted it to be more hidden, that's where you would actually stand these staples up, and then you would cut them off, and then you could sand them down and trim them and cover that up. And we'll cover this up in a moment. But what I'm saying is there's ways to keep this more sightly than what we're seeing. But let's work on the backside really quick. So this is the backside, and you can see how much cleaner this side of the repair looks because, again, we're not looking at all of the staples, just where they're connected here. And that's providing some rigidity, even more so when we get some more reinforcement in here. And how we're going to do that? Going to use our heat gun again, and I've got it on high. I do not. I've got it on low. I'm going to turn that on high, and then I'm going to take this zip tie. Going to get this kind of preheated. And you can see I can melt that zip tie, no problem at all. If you want to, you can take you a spatula or a putty knife or something and kind of gently smooth that out and come back and sand it later. Again, it's not ready for paint and body work, but the idea is we're just reinforcing this. And let this cool once more, and then we'll hit it one more time and be done with it. Now, when it comes to wiring, one of my pet peeves is when, and I see this on boats a ton, I'll see people buy very expensive connectors or more expensive connectors like these right here, which are basically crimp and seal. So you actually do a mechanical connection, a crimp on this connector, but then this bell end right here, as well as this end right here, this is actually pretty high quality heat shrink. So, but you'll see it just like this, where they just crimped it and left it. Well, the idea is, especially on marine applications, you want to seal those connections the best that you can, especially on the backside where you've got it crimped. So what you can do is come in here and actually, before you start, if you have your other wire or other connector, you can actually put that in, because what it's going to do is heat shrink to that as well. You can still pull it apart, but you'll see what will happen here. Again, I put my broader tip on. Let it heat up here in the middle first. I want it to heat from the middle, and then I want to work my way out. So you see how not only did it shrink here onto the wire, which is a great thing because now we've got a nice sealed connection, but it also sealed around the spade connector as well. So if you have these plugged in and we had this actually crimped to the wire, we could do that whole shrink and really create that whole sealed connection that later could you actually remove that, pull it apart? Absolutely. But when you're spending money on these higher cost connectors, be sure to finish the job and do your heat shrink as well. Okay, so we've got our fixed staple side up now. We got the back side cleaned up or finished, so let's go ahead and finish this one as well. Kind of going to be, you know, rinse and repeat, if you will. So you can see the repair's somewhat done. If I needed to drill out that hole, I could. It looks like I've got a little interference into that hole, but as far as the strength goes, it's not quite cool yet. It's still pretty hot to the touch. I went through, I think, 3 different small zip ties to do that, 3 staples, but now my repair is complete with just using my heat gun, and a cordless heat gun at that. So no cord needing to be run. And as soon as that's cool to the touch, we can actually sand it. And now just a couple more tips. Did you know that with a glue stick, you don't have to have a hot glue gun to make that work? I know many times maybe you can't find the hot glue gun, but you can find your glue stick. Well, you just need to heat it up. And yes, you can put a torch on it, but many times open flames are not very, or sometimes they're frowned upon in the workplace, depending on where you're at. But you can just heat up your glue stick. Let it cool, dry, whatever you want to call that. Then you got a great bond. Just using the heat gun and a glue stick. And lastly, did you know that crayons or wax, so you could use an old candle or you can use a crayon, works great for lubricating zippers, even getting into threads, and not only providing lubrication, but you can actually free up rusted fasteners many times, not with a heat gun, with a torch and crayon, or torch and wax. But again, that could also just be an old tea candle or something else that you wanted to drip on there. But many times, if you're not wanting to, spread WD-40 or penetrating oil everywhere, wax is a great lubricator that won't actually hurt the threads or anything else. But will many times lubricate those corroded fasteners and help them move more freely. Now, we know many things can be accomplished with a torch as well, but many times, as I mentioned earlier, open flames are not really looked upon as being very safe, especially if it's under hood or somewhere inside a car cabin or somewhere in a workplace, in an office, what have you. So many times a cordless heat gun will provide that heat without that open flame, and also provide you a way to kind of stand it up out of the way. That's what we love about a cordless heat gun as well. Most of your plug-in heat guns, you have to lay them down or put them on a stand or have a kickstand or something like that. But when you got the FLEX FX6321, you got the big 5.0 battery here, you can easily set it down on there and not have to worry about it till you need to grab it again. And it's as simple as pulling the trigger. Also, something it has we didn't utilize is a trigger lock. So you can actually pull this in, lock the trigger, and now use your hands to work around wherever your heat source is, where it's coming out, whether you're doing heat shrink or melting something, whatever it may be. Also, another great application that we didn't show here is stripping paint, or actually pulling off old decals that are nice and brittle. When you heat them back up, they get some of the flexibility back in them and easier to pull off. And also applying the heat to the actual adhesive helps you to be able to remove that as well. Hey, be sure to keep track of us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and even TikTok. And if you don't mind, hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And by all means, if you hated our video, well, give us a thumbs down. But let us know in the comments why. Have a great day. Keep smiling.